YouTube. Robert the Monster Among Marks Drap here. I'm joined once again by my good friend and tag team partner, Sierra. How you doing today?
Um, I guess I'm okay. Got some secret juice and got some notes up ready to do this shit. Can
I
we
th- I
just both agree that the opening match was way too long?
it was not only way too long. I hate the way that it ended. But I understand kind of the reasoning behind why. Um as you can see in the background, we
Get these
came.
broken hands is going to be the new hashtag.
Oh yeah. Uh, Last night we came to Raw came to us from the Staples Center once again, as I anticipate it will come to us tonight. And the show started off with Baron Corbin introducing Stephanie McMahon, and then going through the slimy little, oh yeah, by the way, since you said if we clean sweep, I get the general manager job as a permanent position. And before Stephanie can get too far into telling him, yeah, but the monster among men comes out to remind Stephanie McMahon, hey, guess what? You promised me shit. Uh, this then leads Stephanie to go, you know
Yeah,
what?
and he gets
Yeah.
his
What do we got? I hate that my
go
mic
ahead.
delays like 45 seconds. It's the really literal worst. But no, I want to hear your play by play as well.
Uh, shit. I just lost my train of thought, so please go ahead.
Okay, so Stephanie says, you know what? Yes, you will have your match against Baron Corbin. It will be at TLC. And as far as the dismemberment thing, we're going to have to work on that. Still working on the legalese. Just can't, break people in half. To which Braun then says, yeah, we had a deal. Not only do I get Corbin, I still get my Universal Championship match, right? She's like, yep, you're gonna face him at Royal Rumble, and I get to pick the stipulations for the match at TLC, right? And she's like, yep, you still get to do that. And Corbin's, going apoplectic, like, no, you can't do this. This is not happening. And she's like, listen, I'm a businesswoman. I'm a woman of my word. My word is my bond. You beat Braun Strowman, and you will be declared the official Raw general manager. But if you lose, you are no longer in any position of authority. Braun, you win, you get to face Brock Lesnar at Royal Rumble. There, compromise. And to be honest, I've been kind of combing the interwebs to see if this whole thing was it a work, was it a shoot, what did we get out of the end of this match? Because Stephanie then schedules a 6-on-6 elimination tag match right now between Corbin, McIntyre, and Bobby Lashley versus Braun Strowman, Elias, and Finn Balor. The whole thing ends in a scrub, so...
Jesus, look! Oh my God. Yeah. So first of all, this match just to get us to that last 5 minutes of it.
Yeah.
Um,
It was fine
we
showcase for both
see
men.
the heels successfully are able to take. Yeah, good showcase for all the guys. I mean, LA popped hard for Balor, and also popped really hard for Elias. I liked seeing Balor in the Pride trucks again. That was a nice little touch. But it just ended up demolishing the faces. They eliminated Balor first, and then Elias was quickly eliminated after, which left us with this 3-on-1 handicap. It's almost what Baron Corbin asked for. He had originally asked for the 2-on-1. Christ, do you want to go ahead and talk about just that was really rough at the end because Braun was not screaming.
Yeah. Here's the thing about that, and leading me back into my original statement of why I was combing the internet to make sure that this was to see if this was a work or a shoot. Now, there's three. It is heavily implied that this is a work, that they set this up for the good reasons that I will mention hereafter, and most importantly because he has been. They said local medical place. I guess that's one of those indications that they really did take him to the hospital. But here's the thing. Apparently, he's been working injured. If you've watched him walk down the ramp in recent past, he's been trundling down, not walking, more limping. And the fact of the matter is he's tried his damnedest to put together good matches, and he's really done well. But in each one successively since Crown Jewel, he's worked less and less and less because he's trying not to hurt himself anymore. And that's good. Don't overdo it, but if you're injured, you shouldn't be working. One of the other reasons that cropped up as a reason why they're having him written off until TLC is to give Baron Corbin a legit chance at TLC, to make it a little more believable that between the two of them, Baron Corbin stands a chance against the Monster Among Men. He has been
wow.
Think about it in the
I can't believe the blasphemy coming out of your mouth.
We're going kayfabe here. I know it's dead, but we're gonna zombify it for a minute. We're zombifying. Jesus, we're zombifying for a minute here.
Did I piss you off? Because I feel like you took a shot at my wrestler.
No. I actually think that he's a very impressive person. I know. But here's the thing. In kayfabe storyline, there is a small number of wrestlers who are more powerful than Braun Strowman. One of them is Brock Lesnar. I imagine the other one being The Undertaker. That's the top tier. That's where you have the strongest power. Now, that being said, they have to make it believable at tables, ladders, and chairs. So, having an injury, air quotes, that gives them that's why he barely managed to win. That's why he barely escaped.
But Baron had literally said before the match as well. I'm not contradicting you.
Mm-hmm.
But Baron did say before when they were talking with Stephanie, why would you want a TLC match? Because that is that's going to give me the advantage. I mean, granted, yeah, Braun could literally use all three weapons at once. I would not be surprised if we saw that at one point.
Sandwiches.
Now I just lost my train of thought. I think I was just so up in arms about you putting my man down.
I didn't put him down. I'm saying that's one of the three reasons why it's written into kayfabe that he could be injured. Now, the third reason is that Braun Strowman has backstage heat. The unfortunate part about Braun Strowman is he apparently likes to show up late and leave early. Braun it has been said by I think it was Brian
Send him to wrestlers'
Alvarez.
court.
Yeah. Well, Brian Alvarez has
Send him
said.
to wrestlers' court.
Well, Brian Alvarez of the Wrestling Observer says he has several sources, four different people, in fact, have said that on multiple occasions that the Monster Among Men will show up late and leave early. It has been described by some that he is, quote, his own worst enemy and his own worst advocate. Now,
I read that same article that you're reading.
Yeah, if you don't present yourself well, especially when McMahon is high on you, you got to do something. You got to step back and look at your own mistakes and say, "Hey, this is why I'm not where I want to be."
Joking about saying send him to wrestlers' court. That's an actual thing.
Oh, I know it is.
And they did that for wrestlers that hold that type of lack of respect, because the coming late and leaving early is showing a lack of respect for those that are still performing after you're done.
Yeah, apparently he has some
Send him to wrestlers' court. Give him whatever the charge is. Put the Undertaker back up in the judge's seat.
That's the thing. I think that of all the people, because you break down the hierarchy in the back, you have Undertaker. Undertaker has been the judge and jury for many, many years. He can't do that anymore, unless you do it by Skype. You got next in line, heir apparent, Roman. You can't do that.
Don't know.
You can't do that for obvious
reasons.
Speaking
of Roman.
We're going to get there. We're going to get there.
No, I'm done talking about... Ooh, look, Braun got the shattered elbow injury, and McIntyre eliminated their team for the match. But good God, Dean Ambrose, you might have gone too far, and that's saying something, because I have loved you since Jon Moxley.
Yeah, I mean... I don't think...
Look, in kayfabe...
Yeah, it was beautiful.
In kayfabe, it's beautiful, but WWE cannot keep using leukemia as storyline fodder.
Nope. Hell, they had one of their wrestlers injured by another one of their wrestlers who has a long history of injuring her in-ring co-workers, and it seems like they're fucking leaning into it. Are you
referring to Nia?
I am indeed.
Okay, so you say she has a long history.
Mm-hmm.
Give me more than the two recent ones.
More than I have on my Twitter.
More than Becky and Zelina.
Becky, Zelina, Charlotte, and Bayley.
When did she actually... Okay, hold on. What was Charlotte's injury?
Charlotte got dropped on her fucking face.
How long was she out of commission?
I don't think she got out of commission for very long. I think it was like she got...
So that might have just been a work.
Well, she landed on her fucking face.
There are moves that are designed for these wrestlers to land on their fucking faces.
She was doing a moonsault.
I don't think... Look, my fear is that you're hopping on the Twitter bandwagon like everyone. The same when Becky was facing Charlotte and everyone turned around and said Charlotte was a terrible wrestler. I'm just trying to make sure that you're not hopping on the Twitter bandwagon of Nia injured the hottest thing in WWE right now, so we're all going to say she's the most unsafe worker in the world. Seth Rollins has been accused of the same thing, and he's still putting on amazing matches. I don't think we should throw that on Nia Jax.
Here's the thing about Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins did injure Finn. It wasn't intentional. It was his move, and
there's been more than Finn.
And it happened. But when you look over Seth's history, he's got what, two people that he hurt or he was involved with that he was involved with, and they got injured. When you look at Nia's...
two people?
I want to say Tyson Kidd. No, that was Samoa Joe. I was going to say Tyson Kidd and Finn Balor.
Dean Ambrose was out for a certain amount of time after the Cinderblock spot, even though, yes, that was a work, there was definite injury to that.
Well, yeah. Same with Samoa Joe
Go
in the
listen to
road
Bret
case
Hart's
and the
opinions on Seth Rollins and how terrible of a worker he's in the ring, because Bret Hart is very opinionated about that. I don't think we should be focusing on all of this. I mean, we're focusing on specifics.
I mean,
that had nothing to do with the episode of that we're watching tonight.
This is true. Moving on. I almost don't want to focus.
But speaking of Seth Rollins,
yeah,
he's in the house.
And
he's got something to say to Dean Ambrose and about the Shield. And we get reminded that on Sunday was the 6-year anniversary of the debut of Shield at Survivor's 2012, November 18th.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, those coinciding dates are beautiful.
Aren't they?
He goes on to talk about... Yes, I'm talking about my Shield boys. Shut up.
You forget there's a 30-second delay between what you hear and what I'm saying.
You need to fix that 30-second delay. So Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose are scheduled to finally have that face-to-face because, as we found out after Seth Rollins' match against Nakamura at Survivor Series, Dean Ambrose is slated to take on Seth Rollins at TLC for the Intercontinental Championship. I believe that. If it was a multi-man match, that would definitely be a ladder match.
I actually want it to be a ladder
match. They're going to have a stipulation. They're going to have a nice stipulation on their match. Mm. But Seth talks about Dean talking about, so if you haven't watched the WWE Chronicle on Dean Ambrose, you need to go watch that because that's amazing.
I plan on it, actually.
Seth talks about the fact, Dean had a life-threatening injury in his elbow when it got infected and inflamed during his recovery period. But Seth wasn't able to know about that because Dean apparently never returned his phone calls. He also says that he heard Dean say he loves WWE in the documentary, and he says that this is the first time he's ever heard Dean say he loves something. The first time he ever thought Dean Ambrose was actually capable of loving something. Kayfabe, don't believe that. His wife's on commentary. I do like that he did turn to commentary when he said that, because wife being on commentary.
Yeah.
But then Seth moves on about, how he betrayed his brothers, he betrayed the betrayals.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that... hold on. So we get through this emotional promo that Seth delivers about being in the Shield and fighting for brotherhood and having each other's backs. And at this point, Seth's freaking amped up. He calls Dean out to the ring. Here on our Titantron, and says that in the Shield, they did some terrible things. In ring, out of ring, behind the scenes. It's a little confusing there, but he brings up that Roman is answering for what he did, and because he's answering to the man upstairs.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
The amount of booze that just poured in at when he said that, I could imagine were deafening. Just, what are you thinking, creative? Stop it. You need to stop doing this.
I don't Roman in a sense as well, because they did say that Dean turned on Seth and Roman. And I think by putting that jab in with the leukemia and answering to the man upstairs, that's kind of their way of putting Roman in the story. But yeah, they probably shouldn't have gone about it that way. But in the end, Dean tells Seth to come and find me, to which, do we immediately see it? Yes, we immediately see Seth runs off and tries to find where Ambrose is standing. And then we get this really awkward confrontation with security guards.
Yeah, it's like, get out of my face. It's like, you don't tell fucking Seth Rollins that.
What the
hell's wrong with you?
It's just the acting. It's just the acting.
Said it,
oh my gosh. But and so we see Seth go off looking for Ambrose, and we get a commercial break, and it's time for women's tag team action when the Boss and Hug Connection, aka Sasha and Bailey, team up against Nia Jax and Tamina.
Nope.
Okay.
Just don't. I wanted to care. Look, I thought about caring, and then I didn't. Because here's the thing, I like Bailey and Sasha just fine. They're good in-ring competitors. There's no arguing that, because they've spent the time. They do good work. Tamina's not bad. I haven't seen enough of her ever to make a judgment call on her, and we're not talking about Nia. But they keep bringing up what she did to Becky. It's like, stop.
My issue isn't that they keep bringing up what she did to Becky, because yes, Becky got injured. It happens. It's entertainment that comes with a price. Yeah, I pulled the punch. Maybe Becky wouldn't have the broken face. But my only issue with this is not that WWE, my issue is that she calls herself the face breaker.
Yeah.
That's the only issue, to be honest. I don't appreciate that you want to have nothing to say about Nia Jax, period.
I mean,
because again, I think we both need to do a little bit more research before we start saying she has a long history.
Okay.
Because TBH, I think Zelina Vega and Becky Lynch are the only serious she's had as of late. I mean,
we will talk about.
I don't recall many injuries in NXT by her hands. And if you want to get that technical, Ember Moon is then considered a dangerous person because she tweaked Billie Kay's neck doing the Eclipse.
Okay.
I just, again, happen, and I think everybody is just getting too nitpicky about it. Because, again, had everybody not hated Nia Jax, this would have been a good match.
I mean, a solid heel performance, to be sure. In which the more dominant women come out and come out ahead. As far as that goes, that match is, I mean, I didn't even really like it. Like, there was flurries of action from Bailey and Becky, but it for all their blustering, saying that they were coming for everybody on the Raw women's team, I'm not seeing any of that fury. I'm not seeing any of that passion. I'm not seeing any of that promise come to fruition. And as I said in the SummerSlam review, I'm sorry, in the Survivor Series review, I want to see them come kendo sticks and chairs, beating the hell out of each and every single one of these women to avenge themselves upon them. Don't care about a match. Doesn't matter. Just bring the fury.
Issue in that. The big issue with that is that we are in the reality era of WWE, not the attitude era of WWE anymore.
Yeah, in the Attitude Era, they would have had to wrestle in G-strings.
Look, I can tell we are not going to be able to talk about Nia Jax without getting into a serious fight. So we're not going to do this because I'm not going to lose my tag team partner over this.
Oh, hell no.
But let's just, again.
The match, like I said, I wasn't particularly interested in. It didn't do anything surprising. Moving on.
But
go ahead.
No, we're good.
I was gonna say, but in the end, Nia Jax hits the Samoan drop. I believe it was on Bayley, and gets the pinfall victory. Again, it was a standard match for Nia Jax, and it didn't do anything but tick the boxes and move time forward. So, moving on. Oh God, I just watched it and I can't remember. I didn't take any notes.
After the match, we see Charlie Caruso is about to interview someone that participated at Survivor Series. Instead, we see Dean Ambrose appear via TV screen behind Charlie and ask her to relay a message to Seth Rollins. Meet him at the Shield's old hideout, so in the boiler room. Yeah. After this, we go to commercial. When we come back, we see Seth Rollins making it to where Dean Ambrose said that he would be. However, Dean is not there, and instead there is a spray paint message of "burn it down" on the back of that stairwell door. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, while Seth is running around like a lunatic looking for Dean Ambrose, everyone is having their own freaking urine puns with Drake Maverick, making fun of him for wetting himself during the tag team match last night. Whatever this is, I'm not into it, and it needs to stop right now. You are going to tear Drake Maverick away from AOP, and Drake Maverick is the only reason AOP has those titles.
Yeah. I mean, the Los Angeles crowd started chanting AOPP. The thing of it is, you are actively harming your own brand by allowing this to continue, by even doing it in the first place. You have 205 Live that later on in the evening for Survivor Series put on a phenomenal match. And the man that is the face of that brand as the commissioner of 205 Live is also on Raw.
Commissioner.
General manager, I'm sorry. He's basically running 205 Live. And you're going to keep doing this to him. Why? What's the point? You don't have anybody else in the... I guess I think I've just hit upon a revelation. I know why they're making fun of him. There's nobody in the tag team division that ain't a joke already. So they had to have one on AOP. The authors of pain.
Well,
had
let's
to have
move
a
on.
joke. Sorry.
Okay, let's move on because because up next we have the Revival versus Lucha House Party under the Lucha House rules, which means that all three members of the party can be tagged in during this match. This is basically a Freebird rule.
It's a 3-on-2
but instead of with
match.
The belt defending it, it's a 2-on-3 handicap match. It's literally, let's find a new way to hold down the Revival this week.
Yeah, right.
Jesus.
Hate it.
All right, so let me just go ahead and get into this match. So Well, let's just see what I have. Basically, the big thing. We see Dawson get Kalisto put into a leg lock in the middle of the ring, to which Kalisto eventually counters with a body slam. Dash throws Penelope, the pinata Penelope. We all know who Penelope is, out of the ring. And at this point, as soon as Dash throws Penelope, the pinata, out of the ring, Lince Dorado gets a kick on him.
I didn't
Terrible.
see it. Yeah.
Look, so what happens is that we get a little bit of back and forth between the Lucha House Party. Dash Wilder throws the pinata, which is one of 3 pinatas now, at, I believe, Metalik. I don't know. He threw the freaking pinata. Lince Dorado kicks Dash, and then Metalik does a beautiful little one of his beautiful King of the Rope moves, and pins Dash Wilder, giving them the win over the Revival.
Yep.
Sorry.
No. This match was not great. And I hate that they've kind of put the Revival in this position when they should be booked a hell of a lot stronger. In my mind, the Revival should be challenging the Authors of Pain, bringing in the storylines from NXT. It should be, hey, we've faced you before. You know we can beat you. It's happened. Let's do this. And they're not. They're not capitalizing on what they have in NXT. And now they're in the position that they're in with Revival having a rivalry in as much as they've imposed it against the Lucha House Party. And I don't hate the Lucha House Party. I love Grand Metalik. Lince Dorado's amazing. Kalisto's got the background and the seniority and the experience to really bring anybody, I feel, into a decent match at the very least. And you've got them doing this with... Why? I don't mind. Be Lucha. That's great. Please do.
Because they scrapped the idea of having the tag team cruiserweights, and okay, the issue is, the whole reason we see Lucha House Party on Raw again now is, one, because they were a part of the Raw tag team thing for Survivor Series, so they're going to have to get some screen time on Raw since they represented the brand.
Yep.
2, I've taken a couple surveys as of late, and this probably has nothing to do with it, but they were asking about the cruiserweights, and they asked, would you want to see the cruiserweights on Raw again? I think if they're going to start doing this, if they're going to start reintroducing the cruiserweights to Raw, they need to do more than just the Lucha House Party.
Yeah.
Because even on 205 Live, Lucha House Party is really starting to take over. We see too much of Lucha House Party at this point.
Ooh, here's an idea. Drew Gulak and Gentleman Jack Gallagher end up costing the Lucha House Party a match. There's your next set.
That would happen on 205 Live. They wouldn't do that on a Raw. That's bringing too much shenanigan onto Raw.
It does need to happen, and it would get more eyes on 205 Live. But you're right.
I don't think. Look, 205 Live is actually doing pretty good.
Oh, hell yeah.
Moving them to the different time and the different date did wonders for 205 Live. But let's move on to one of the rougher spots of the night. Ronda Rousey with the microphone.
Ooh. I feel bad for her.
So, Ronda Rousey, go ahead.
I was going to say, I feel bad for Ronda because she's kind of been caught in the midst of 2 inadvertent babyface turns with Becky and Charlotte. And it hurts because she's very good and nobody cares. Since she got involved with Becky, it's all been about
Does
Becky.
that have something to do with Becky's turn?
Yeah, because
No,
everybody,
Ronda had nothing to do with the fact that Becky became the ultimate babyface.
my point in that is that she helped build more she's part of having more sympathy for Becky because of the rivalry that they had, the storyline rivalry that they were in the middle of. And with this injury, she's now gained more sympathy and looked more badass. That to me is like, okay, you have inexorably been linked to Becky Lynch. You didn't want to be, really. You wanted to have this kind of be an amazing one-off, but it is going to turn into a long-term thing. Every time we see Ronda, we're going to hear Becky. It's going to be guaranteed. This crowd in Los Angeles did not let her go unheard by continually chanting about wanting to see Becky and that Ronda sucks. Now, with and Charlotte's involvement in her own face turn, or heel face turn, whatever you want to call it, self-evident.
I think we're watching different episodes because that's not what I got out of this segment at all. I didn't 1 second think of Becky Lynch during this segment.
It was there in the promo from the crowd, but she does talk about how she wants to continue to prove that she is the baddest bitch on the planet, and does so, at her best or at her worst, she will always be a fighting champion. And so this is her at her worst, and she doesn't care who comes out, she will fight them. She's like, cue somebody's music, I want to defend my championship right now. Baron Corbin comes out, he's like, no.
Well, they cued someone's music.
Yeah. They cued somebody. What did he even say? I can't even remember.
He comes out and says that she will absolutely not be defending her title tonight. To which Ronda replies, I've never pulled out of a fight before, and I'll never pull out of, I'm not going to start now as a challenger. So Baron says, fine. And he promises that Ronda's challenger will be the next Raw Women's Champion. To which we get Mickie James music. I mean, I'd love to see Mickie as a champion again, but now you already knew isn't losing this match.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she's a really good competitor. There's no doubt that Mickie James is. But I almost feel bad for her because this was kind of a rebuild match for Ronda. And
Mickie for this good showing, she landed a huge super kick. She got a long series of kicks and strikes, to which Ronda had to pull multiple arm drags on Mickie, had to land three Piper's Pits, and then had to put the armbar on in order to beat Mickie James. So honestly, Mickie had a good showing. The whole point of this was the post-match where we see Nia and Tamina at the top of the ramp to meet Ronda, and all Nia does is blow on her fist and warn Ronda that they're having a TLC match.
Yep. I don't even... more of Dean Ambrose being everywhere. He's back by what looked like a forklift, and he starts talking about how there's this nasty smell, and how it's
this match.
Yeah.
That's after the next match.
Oh, that was. I'm sorry.
You skipped a match.
Sorry. Was it time for
because the next match.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Was it time for the AOP
Go ahead.
match? Because I can't remember. It's been a long day.
It was AOP versus the Glorious whatever they are.
Yeah. I think they have a new shirt.
No, Gable's just wearing Bobby Roode's shirt. That's Bobby Roode's NXT shirt.
Oh. Just, guys, come on, do something with them.
Look, so this whole match was given to us because Roode and Gable were making fun of Drake Maverick for wetting himself at Survivor Series. It's a little stupid. I'm actually very seriously already looking for Razor and Akam to pull a Razor and Akam like they did to poor Paul Ellering and kick poor Drake Maverick out of the group. But instead, Razor and Akam go to war for Drake Maverick because Razor completely dismantles Chad Gable at first. And it's only Gable was able to tag in Roode that the Glorious, whatever they are, were able to get some momentum until AOP gets some double team action on them. We see Bobby Roode hit a blockbuster on Akam before tagging in Gable, who does the sunset flip, actually giving him the win. I thought.
Yep, that's how it happened.
Again, we see, as you mentioned earlier, we got the AOPP chant breaking out. WWE, you've created something terrible, and I hate you for this.
Yeah.
But this was not a title match. But because Gable and Roode pinned AOP, you can probably guess we're going to be seeing the title match at TLC. At this point, we see Dean Ambrose hiding behind the forklift, and then says that he smells something funky. Says it could be a number of things. Seth Spear, Los Angeles, and then he says, "You people," which I guess he's referring to us as a general unit.
Yeah.
I will say this was really confusing, like the first segment, but the more we get to see these two throughout the episode, the more curious I got. I mean, Dean said that they did some terrible things and that Roman was paying for his terrible things and that Seth was going to pay for his terrible things via Dean. And it makes you kind of wonder, well, what are these terrible things that Seth, these skeletons that Seth has in his closet? Because now I'm actually to what it is that, because it's so bad that your brother turned on you.
Yeah, I mean, in my head, I'm waiting for almost kind of a one night in Milwaukee situation, you know, where they have him.
Jesus, no, it's not going to be something that stupid.
Now, hang on. It's not going to be something that's stupid, but I want to see it kind of draw out like that, where he starts talking. He's like, I haven't done anything to deserve this. I've done nothing that you could possibly throw at me. And he's like, oh yeah, well, what about Philadelphia or some shit like that? And just this whole thing of, wait, what did Seth do?
Well, and I think we're going to be wondering what Seth has done, and this Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins really WWE needs Rollins and Ambrose to carry Raw through the holiday season, because they're the big storyline that's going to be that just sparked.
Yeah.
Because the women's division is going to be Nia Ronda. That's something we've seen, and something that with Nia getting so much heat, no one's going to be looking forward to. But let's move back in, because when we come back from commercial, we see Seth is dressed in his painted on skinny jeans. He's got his bags in hand and he's ready to leave the arena.
Mm-hmm.
So after all this time of running around looking for Dean Ambrose, you're just gonna up and leave. I
I
mean, I guess yeah, you've had some time to compose yourself, but this just keeps getting weirder and weirder.
in my head, I kind of knew where this was going because I looked at it. I'm like, this is the architect. This is him going above Dean. Like, he was always the smart one. How am I going to out strategize Dean? I'm going to make him think he won. I'm going to make him think that I'm
Yeah,
not
I
here,
mean,
and then ambush him.
yeah, I mean, by them showing Seth leaving, yes, it always leaves that bad. Well, if Dean comes out to the ring later, we're definitely going to see Seth.
Mm-hmm.
But let's move on to our grudge match, which is Natalia going head to head with Ruby Riott. Can you take over this real quick? I need to give my dog her shot.
Okay.
Sorry.
This match in my mind wasn't supremely bad, but then again, for what it was a yet further continuation and a yet further instance of hang on, there we go, of Natalia continuing the feud between the two. We get a fairly standard match between Ruby Riott and Natalia, with the Riott Squad quite frequently interfering. Now, in my head, it's like, you know what's coming. You know what they're doing. Why haven't you just asked for them to be banned from ringside or something? But that's not what we got here. Instead, what we get is Ruby Riott, as we come back from commercial, in control of Natalia after she started off strong in the early going. The commentary stating that the Riott Squad, the rest of the Riott Squad, helped give Ruby the leg up. I think one of my spots for this match would have to have been the. I feel like it was a senton from the top rope by Ruby Riott. Now, this is something we really haven't seen out of the leader of the Riott Squad, like, ever. So, with you back now, how did you feel about this match?
Look, so there's definitely look. This whole match spawns around the fact that the Riott Squad broke Natalia's dad's sunglasses, which big no-no because of who he was and the fact that he's not with us anymore. Honestly, I I am such a huge fan of Ruby Riott and the Riott Squad. I don't like that. I feel that every feud they've come up on the losing end of they've gotten the short end of the stick. But I did like the interaction between Ruby and Natalia. It's always great to see the two of them in the ring. I mean, I don't know if you've done any spots, but
I did the top rope.
oh yeah, that beautiful top rope senton that
Mm-hmm.
Ruby did.
Yeah, that was really good.
It just again, the Riott Squad needs something of substance to do, because them doing these little one-off feuds. The thing is, the Riott Squad needs to start picking up some wins because it's really starting to hurt them. And that's really sad because Ruby is a phenomenal wrestler, and Liv and Logan have improved exponentially since they first came up to the main roster.
Oh yeah. Having more of them, being a legit threat would be nice. But in the end, Natalia does pick up the victory. I hate it. I do. In the sense that, like I said, the Riott Squad need more wins, and they really haven't gotten any recently. But kind of is what it is.
Yeah. Let's move on into our. I believe this was our final segment of the night.
Mm-hmm.
We come back from a commercial and we see the announce team. We get the nice shot of all of them, and Michael Cole announces that. I know you already said it, but Michael Cole announces that Ron was taken to a local medical center and that he was given the diagnosis of shattered elbow. Meanwhile, Dean Ambrose is on his way out to the ring. Yes, Seth is definitely, Seth never freaking left. This is all a trick. We see Dean come out as he's making his way down the ring. He pulls out that handkerchief. He starts chastising the crowd by mimicking them, saying, why, Dean, why did you do it? He calls everybody at the Staples Center out, saying that they would have stabbed their friends in the back for money. They would have stabbed their family in the back for food. And then erupts, what is that smell? At this point on the Titantron, we see Seth Rollins come flying down the hallways into the ring. And we finally get to see some action between the two of them. Seth chases Dean out and into the crowd, throws him back into the ring, lands a huge kick to Dean's face, and then goes for the stomp. But it's at this point Ambrose hits that low blow and then takes over the beatdown, grabs Seth by the hair, yells at him for interrupting him, lands the first dirty deed, and then listens to the refs when they tell him to leave. I think everybody saw that Dean was going to take off and come back into the ring, grab Seth. He grabs Seth by the face and says, let's talk now. You're here. And then Jesus Christ. It sets, this feud is going to carry, this feud has to carry WWE through the holidays, as I've already said. Yeah. This is really the only feud that Raw has going for them, especially now that Lesnar has the title belt. We're not going to have a good Universal feud until it's on somebody else.
We're not going to have a feud.
But then it also makes you think, what are these secrets that the Shield has?
Yeah, the secrets that the Shield have would be interesting. In my head, it's like we're not going to even have a Universal Championship feud until after TLC at the very earliest. So it's like you already played your hand.
Yeah, we're not going to have a Universal Championship until Royal Rumble.
Yeah. It's like, we already know.
Because Lesnar's just going to come back and do those silent promos using Heyman as the mouthpiece. We're not going to get any actual build-up for this feud between the two of them until they're actually in the ring at the Rumble.
Here's my thing. Lesnar can't qualify for the UFC pool, like their drug testing pool, until January. So his match, just on the surface, he can't even have a match in the UFC until maybe mid next year. So in my head, it's like you're going to waste more time in between. So you've got Braun Strowman stepping to the plate saying, I'm going to be the next Universal champion. I think that this, as we said earlier, since he's kind of his own worst advocate, this may be an opportunity for him to prove himself. All he has to do is, toe the line from now until the Royal Rumble. That's a long time, but I think he can do it. And if he manages to do it, we'll see him as the Universal Champion. But the next thought in my head is like, okay, we don't have a timetable diagnosis for Reigns' return. That's going to be...
We don't know. Okay, so this is leukemia.
Yeah.
This is something that's going to take a while to get over.
Yeah.
There is no timetable for Reigns' return.
There can't
This
be.
all depends on Reigns' body's ability to fight this infection, which we don't know. We don't know what that ability is. He's beaten it before, so yes, he's built up some immunity, but there have been cases, even with you, and I'm not comparing chickenpox to leukemia, but there are cases where a person will get a mild form of chickenpox and then later in life get a bad outbreak of chickenpox.
Yeah.
It's very similar in health. If you get the mildest form of something, it's more likely to come back.
Yeah.
And unfortunately it came back. So I don't think we're going to hear, there will be no information on Roman Reigns' timetable for a while, because I think he only just started treatment 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Well, wait. Yeah. You think he only started 2 weeks ago?
It was on, I'll have to send you the link of the article I was reading.
Yeah.
Because it said Reigns officially checks in for treatment, and it was only a week or two ago.
Yeah, no. If you saw an article on that, I'll go with you on it.
Because you also have to think, if they're doing treatment, they have to do cleanse.
Yeah. Here's my thing. I think the match we see after Royal Rumble, I want to see Seth versus Braun.
Oh, we're going to see Seth versus Dean for a while. So,
yeah, I know it's going to carry us at least until Royal Rumble. I don't know if I want to carry it past that, but I do know I want to see it at WrestleMania.
So, I was trying to say, Raw is going to be in DC April 1st, and the advertisement for it already is Ambrose Rollins IC Championship. I know things are scheduled to change, but typically what's on the website stays on the website. So I would not be surprised if because the big thing about the DC show is it's the go home show to WrestleMania. So if that's already advertised on the DC, on the Capital, on the whatever the freaking, I think it's the Capital One Arena website, and it's the go home show for WrestleMania, I would not be surprised if Ambrose Rollins goes to WrestleMania. They have the ability to do that. That's always been a plan. They originally weren't trying to turn Dean until Survivor Series. And now that we've gotten oh my God. Hold up, think about it. Dean turned the night that Roman announced the leukemia.
Mm-hmm.
But the story didn't start moving until Survivor Series, which was the original predicted time of Dean Ambrose's heel turn. They literally were just stalling until this episode of Raw to kick off their feud, which is supposed to go into Mania.
That's really good. Good job.
I feel like an idiot.
You're not. I didn't see it, so you got there. Thank you.
All right, but on that note, I think we should go ahead and shut out this show because I've had quite a bit to drink of the magic juice.
Yeah, I need to go find mine. I want to thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, share all those wonderful things down below. Hit the bell for the notifications. Follow the show on Twitter at InMoshPit.